What's up, YouTube? Welcome to more trades. We're gonna take a look at Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, as they're the most heavily traded coins in my opinion. There are other altcoins that are traded, but in my opinion these are like the top ranking: Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum. And we'll be looking at the traditionals, the Nasdaq, the DXY, the SPY, the SPX, and any other altcoins we would like to look at. You can post them in the chat. But we'll just be looking at what's happening. If you haven't already, please smash the likes, click the notification, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll just get into it. And if you're already done, thank you very much. So we have, this is Solana on the 1 minute chart. Solana is about to make a breakout. Well, it did a breakout early on today. I'll just turn off some of these indicators so we can see what's happening. Let's go on the 15 minute. Solana was traveling in this range over here. As you can see, after the drop yesterday, we had this range and it was traveling and respecting the fixed volume profile range until we broke up. There were many trades to be taken over here at the lows and the highs. The lows, we had a swing failure and this looked like it was going to continue lower, but we had a failed auction and we continued up. And now we're at a breakout. And what I see over here is that we came up from this drop, from this peak over here to the bottom. I like this bottom, it was very clear, and this bottom, you barely see any wicks. They look like strong candles to follow through to the downside, but yeah, you can barely see wicks over here. And we came up and where was that? From the high over here, sorry. From this high to that low, and we came directly into the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level. We got a rejection, a slight pull through over here, you can see, and it was about from that high to this low, a 10% move, a very nice move with leverage that will make a big difference. We seem like we're retesting this triangle that I have over here. You can see this ascending green line. This was drawn on the 1 minute chart. We came up, this was the high, so I drew a line, and this was the ascending trend line. Over here, one touch, second touch, we broke slightly under, a fake out, pumped up, broke up, another fake out with a volume spike that tells us that that was a liquidation move, and we came lower, broke under, and at the moment we're trying to break in. We're retesting it again, and if we get accepted in the range, then we might still be traveling up in this triangle. This is on the 1 minute chart, so patterns on the 1 minute chart are not that strong of patterns, but they play out sometimes. You could take trades off them. And if we continue higher, what are the next levels? I'm looking at Solana. Basically, I was looking at this, the 14.686, and I had this, the 15.132, as it is in the golden pocket. So the middle of the golden pocket between the 0.618 and the 0.65 fib retracement, I had this level, because sometimes we just go in and retest the middle or continue to the 0.65 and then just pull back. I've seen it so many times in the charts. If we continue to the downside, Today we might have this bounce because we are anticipating the CPI data. In addition, we had such an extended move to the downside, so you expect at least a small relief rally to give the people who didn't make it into the shorts another chance. So probably this is a rally just to short again. We have strong resistance over here at around $15,983. So if we break 15, if we break this level of 15,132, then it's 15,983. We have, if we break 15,132, 15,983 won't be as significant because we could come up all the way up and recover the rest of this whole red candle to the downside. This is like an imbalance in the chart, and usually the charts like to be balanced. So looking at the smaller time frame, we are getting a small rejection. So what I did is I drew this triangle. You see this is an ascending triangle, and I took this as a possible bear flag on the 1 minute chart. Obviously it's getting invalidated. I had a target down here for 1363. I want to see if my trade will get stopped out. I was in good profit, and I have my stop in profit as well. But for Solana targets to the downside, I have another chart that has all those targets. I had a measured move that could take us down to 8.3 and 9.11. As you can see, if you watched my previous video, you would see that I had a target of 9.65. We exceeded the target, so target hit. Good take profit. And at the moment, we are pulling up. This could look like an inverse head and shoulders, but this is again the 1 minute chart. Let's put it on the 15 minute. There you go. You have it on the 15 minute, and we can measure it out to see what are the possible targets for this inverse head and shoulders. So this is the left shoulder, that's the head, and that's the right shoulder over here. And let's see that. Let's adjust that a bit. There you go. We had a breakout from the inverse head and shoulders. So the theoretical target for this would be from the head to the neckline. And then you put it at the breakout point, and you have 17,115 as a possible target. And if we do that, then we'll be recovering these two vector zones. Let me just, this highlighted red area, we did not recover that, so we could come all the way up. And the funny thing is, this fits perfectly with this highlighted area that I didn't put. This is just an indicator, and you can see perfectly fitting to that. So it is possible. That's confluence. But my targets to the downside were 9 and 8.3. We didn't hit it. We hit my first target of 9.65. Now looking at the DXY, the dollar index, let's go to the dollar index. The dollar index was moving down, losing its gains. This is on the 15 minute chart. We were in some sort of I would say a W formation. It's an irregular W, and we had our rise. We could have had our first rise, retrace, second rise, deep retrace. So this resets the first rise. So we just had one rise, second rise, retrace. We could have one more rise before we peak out. So the dollar could go higher depending on the CPI data today. As you know, the CPI data is today. And you know the dump that we had, it's due to FTX and Binance, what's his name, Sam Bankman-Fried and all that. But that's just an excuse. I don't believe that that's... Well, okay, so, markets are moved by emotions, but I don't think that's totally what happened. I don't think so. That's the reason. The markets, the traditionals, the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones has moved up. Let's look at the Dow Jones. From its bottom over here, the bottom that we had on the 13th of October. We also had some sort of W formation and we moved out. Now, this move up has not been supported by volume, as you see from this candle when we started moving up. This is on the hourly. Volume has been declining. And you can see here clearly the volume is topping out. You barely have any volume, but you're pushing up and you're pushing up. I think you are reaching a top, and your top could be seen pretty soon, probably with the CPI data. Let's take a Fib retracement from the high to the low. Okay, at the moment we bumped our head at the 0.786, and we may continue down, possibly. Not necessarily, but this move down has been one bear flag after another bear flag, followed by another continuous bear flags. Okay, this isn't a bear flag, but corrective move up, dump, corrective move up, a possible dump, and the next dump, if you want to measure it as a flag, you take the length of the pole and you take it here, and say if the breakout was from here, you could go down and see 26,868. That could take several days. You can see how long these drops took. If we take it for this, yeah, this bear flag and the flag, it looks more like this. This move took to peak out, took 60 days. That's 2 months. We could take 60 days from here. That will bring us on the 12th of December. If that plays out, but it doesn't have to play out. But at the moment, looks like we are kind of topping out. Let's look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq target was 10,400 for me. I had it ever since Nasdaq was traveling in this channel, I believe. Yeah, we had a channel over here, and the measured move for the breakout was from here till here. And you take that breakout. So I had my target, you could say, since January of 11.8. I also have, where is that? $11.8. I had a target of 10.4 as well. Probably it was this bear flag. Peaked out over here. That could take us down to 9. Trying to figure out what was I looking at, but I had a target of 10.4 and we got to 10.481. If you watch my previous videos, you would see that I had that target. Now I want to go to something really interesting. I want to show you something that no other YouTube channel is showing, and I've been showing it ever since, 4 months ago. I posted a video saying, Bitcoin, when will we bounce? So when will we bottom, or something like that. And I was trying to show this targets that I had for Bitcoin, and that Bitcoin is doing something it's never done before. Let me just get rid of this. out, because that's invalid. Our wave 4 has been invalidated. We went so deep. Okay. Now to do that, to see what I'm trying to show you, is something that Bitcoin hasn't done before. It's the first time that Bitcoin has ever done this, and it's on this weekly candle. Will we close this way? If we close like this low, the only way we can invalidate it, I'll give you the target, but let's pull some indicators. I'll pull the KEMA and an EMA. So there you go. Now my EMA, I'm gonna set it to 500. And I just want to see the three, 4, and 5 EMAs. There you go. Basically, what Bitcoin is doing is something it's never done before. We broke down significantly. We dropped by 11% below the 400. This is the 300, that's the 400, that's the 500, which sits at 14,054. Now the 400 EMA was formed around, you could say we started having it since May 2019, April 2019. April 2019? Yeah, April 2019. We've never tested it even in our March 2020 drop, the COVID crash. And for the first time we've tested it. Not only tested, we've broken through. And the only way to recover from this is if we get above 17,695 at the moment. So if Bitcoin is able to close this weekly candle above 17,695, which we have 3 days to do, then we'll be in a good place. Otherwise, this is very bad, and we may come and test the 14,054. This level has confluence. I'm going to show you why. It's so interesting when you look at these things in a higher time frame. You need to zoom out sometimes and just look at what you have. Now looking at the weekly, some people can't see this maybe. We have a vector candle zone. We have a vector candle. This is the last vector. We recovered it. The next one takes us down to 13,793. So essentially from 14,891 to 13,793 is the zone of recovery, which is coinciding with the 500 EMA, which Bitcoin never tested before. So we could come down there, and this level is very significant. As you can see, this is when we started having big vectors, and we never stopped. We had one here, it had a wick. It wasn't as strong as this. I think even if you put on the volume, you'll notice the volume on this candle, well, it's slightly higher, surprisingly. But yeah, so basically those are the levels. I'm looking at a possible 13k range, 14 to 13k, then we might look lower. But let's not get too excited. Bitcoin has fooled us before. We came this low before, and next thing you know, Bitcoin is up again to the races at 25k. This move was very impulsive. It reminds me of the 69k drop. You could see big candles dropping down, slight consolidation, another big drop, consolidate, a pump up. Everyone got so bullish, 100k again, and a continuation. Now we had that over here again, 25k. Everyone was like, we can't drop below 20k, and there we are. I've been saying this for a long time, that we have those targets down there and vectors to recover. Now look at that. You could look at this as a descending triangle, and we broke out. And if we want to measure the move, the possible target for this, so you take it from here and you see that, and you take let's take a horizontal ray from here. Let's even take it from the wick there. And if you want to be more conservative, you could take it to these bodies and say, okay, that's, because because this was a free wick. Now we measure the width of this descending triangle, and you bring it down to this point of breakout. It takes you down to the 10K region that a lot of YouTubers are talking about. People like Crypto Savvy, that people have been calling crazy for a long time, and has been calling this since 64K, I believe. He had his count. Anyways, this descending trend line over here was a previous resistance. So I'll show you what I was looking at initially. This orange trend line from 25K was a descending triangle as well. We broke up, which looked bullish, but as we see, it's a fake out. We went down, and now we're even under the triangle. We're under the same line. So the way I trade, I like to use Elliot Wave counts, and my count says we were in a 1. This chart is a bit messy because I have a lot of Fibonacci time. I also look at Fibonacci time as pivot points. I don't trade off them, but I just keep an eye and be aware of them. Yeah. So looking at this, I'll move down from 69K in white. Disregard the yellow. In white, we had a wave 1, a wave 2 that took us up to the 48K region, a wave 3 that brought us down all the way here to initially around 25K, I believe. Then a wave 4 that took us up around 30K region, and a wave 5. I believe the wave 5, here's the wave 5, it's not finished yet, and the wave 5 is going to have 5 waves in it. We had a 1-2 here, a small 1-2, hard to see on the daily chart, and this was a 3 that took us down to the 17K region the first time. The 4 took us up to the 25K, and I believe we have a wave 5 that could take us down to 10K possibly. Now other Elliotians are counting the wave 5 as an ABC. So let me try and get rid of these to make it easier to see. Hope everyone's doing good and your trades are doing well. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel for these updates and possible targets. Yeah, let's look at the trend-based Fib. So many trend-based Fib. I've been following it for a long time, and it works almost like magic. You get a pivot either up or either down, but it depends on the trend. Okay, so other people count this fifth wave that we're in. This white is a big fifth wave, and inside it you have 5 waves, but other people count it as this was an A, we had a B up, and we are in a C, and the C is a 5-wave move. I know I'm dissecting it too much, might be hard to comprehend, and the C is a 5-wave move, so I'll just take that aside, and I'll give you a target, a prediction of where this can go, and we'll see if it will play out. The C started over here at 25K, and this was the 1 of C, this is the 2 of C, and we're in the 3 of C. We'll have a 4 and a 5. So let's go ahead. The 1 of C was at 25K, and we take it to the bottom of the 1 of the 1. The wave 2 retraced to 0.618. Perfect, very nice. Now let's see how far will the third wave go down. We have 1 to the low of 1 to the high of 2. The wave 5 can't be the shortest. We could have been done with wave 3 now. I meant the wave 3 can't be the shortest, but doesn't have to be the longest. If we're done with this third wave, we will bounce for a fourth wave. How high will the fourth wave go? I can give you a prediction for that. From the beginning of 3, if this is done, we could see the 17,265. If that doesn't hold as resistance, we could easily see the 18,327. Our wave 2 was quite sharp, so I expect our wave 4 to be shallow. I would expect it around the 17,265. If we break that, I'm looking at 18,327. So if this wave 3 is done. Now that is only if wave 3 is done. Now if wave 4 will come to the 17k region, the target was 17,265. I can give you a target for the wave 5 following downwards. So we'd have, you take the length of 1 to the top of 4, 17,265. The wave 5 can end us at 12k. Could end us somewhere here if it's gonna extend 1 to 1, or if we're gonna go lower to the 1.618, we could end up sub 10k, 9,771. Yep. That is what I see us doing if we have a shallow wave 4. The higher the wave 4 goes, the better for Bitcoin. So if wave 4 goes up, if wave 4 goes to the 18,700, then I can tell you that wave 3, the wave 5 will be shorter, so 18,700. Our wave 5 could come down to 14,051 or even 11,152. So these are possible targets to the downside, and to the upside I gave you that 17,000 range and the 18,000. I'll go back to that. We could come up to 17,265 or 18,327 initially. We could even have a very deep wave 4 up to 19,180, 199, but that'd be quite deep. I don't expect it after having a deep wave 2. I want to take a look at Solana. It looks like Solana, my trade on Solana has been closed out. I think we're above my stop. Oh, I'm still in profit. That's very good. And if you're interested in any altcoins, or you want me to post to give TA on anything else, whatever it is, any indices, I'll be more than happy to give that. So this is Solana. We are hitting the target again of 14.078. The value area low of this volume profile is at 16.8. We might have that move up since Bitcoin is pumping. The thing is, these coins all depend on Bitcoin. Let's look at the 15 minutes. And I want to go back to the 1 minute and look at my, where's my flag? Where's my ascending triangle? I have it on this chart. So in the 15 minute, we are having a bearish engulfing candle pushing down. The Tether USDT dominance, let's take a look at that, because we really depend on that. If it goes up, then we go down. And if the ES, which is the mini S&P 500, goes up, we go down. Let's see how is the mini doing. The mini seems like it's trying to form a bear flag. It might shoot up. We have this vector candle zone over here to recover, but we are. Oh, just a Salvio. How did I miss your message? I'm really sorry about that. I didn't notice I got a live message. Can you do TA on Ronin network? Yeah, sure, I'll do that. If you want to look at Ronin, is it Ronin USDT? Ronin. What is the ticker for that? How do you Ronin network? Ronin USDT. On what exchange would you like to see that? On OKX, spot, or futures? Jester Salivio, sorry if I didn't get your name right. Would you like to see it on what exchange would you like to see it on? Ronin. Okay, I'll do it on Tether. It's only on OKX. Okay, let's look at it. Let's go on the daily for starters. Okay, it's on OKX. Sure, no problems, buddy. Fairly young coin, I think. Haven't heard of it before. But yeah, on the daily. I'll go in it from the daily and tell you my projections. What do I think? Okay, so we had a 1. It had a 5 wave, a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This was an expanded flat, an A, and a B that breaks the low of the A, and a C that exceeds that. That was a 2, and this was a 3rd wave. Wow, this is a huge 3rd wave. Wow. Okay, we'll dive into smaller time frames. So for a 3rd wave, usually the 4th wave retraces, as I mentioned, around the 0.382 or 0.236. We haven't retraced that yet. Looks like the 3rd wave isn't over, but usually for a fourth wave it goes up to 1.236 at least, unless I got the count wrong, but it's quite extended because it's it looks like it's a low cap coin, so probably that's why there is some strange things in the chart. But I'll tell you something, at the moment, looking at the 1 hour, we broke below support, and I'm sure it's a volume spike, liquidation spike. You had a small spike, not as huge, and I'll put on just a second. If we are to retrace, we have these vector candles to recover, and let's see how does it usually behave. Let's take a fib from the high over here. I'm curious, how much does it retrace? Close to the 0.786. So it is a possibility that we can go and retrace to the 0.786 from this peak to this low. 0.786 could bring us up to the 0.317 as a first target. I would respect the golden pocket first at the 0.291, around the 0.291 and 0.296. I'll just put it at 0.294 and 0.316 as a second target. Now, Bitcoin is pulling back, so all these might start pulling back, recovering. But just by looking at this, okay, Axie Infinity and other futures, P2E games too. Okay, just looking at this, I can tell you that we truly can expect resistance if we even get to this block. I know it's a bit of a wide range, but you can see over here we consolidated, and if I pull a fixed range volume profile, you will notice that probably we have a point of control. Our point of control is right over here, as I expected. It's the same point. We are below the value area low, which would be our point, our golden pocket, and our point of control is very close to the 0.786 retracement. So if we come up, then this is a level I'll be looking for, because we consolidated over here. We have another volume block over here. I would expect resistance even at 0.277 to start with. And if I pull a fib, let's see, 0.277. I'm just trying to get confluence. 0.273 is a 0.5 fib, and that would be a retracement level for a possible wave 4 of a micro count. So we could have small accounts and small accounts. So over here we possibly had a 1, 2, and this was a third wave, a 1, 2, 3, and we bounced up 4, 4, and we came down 4, 5, and we could be finished if I take it from the length of 1 to the bottom of 1, and I said a 1, 2, no, sorry, we want to, yeah, the fourth wave. So if the fourth wave comes to the if the fourth wave comes to the first target and you start seeing a rejection, you could expect to move even lower. You could expect to go down at least to the 0.131, or being conservative, the 0.618 at around the golden pocket would be over here. So this would be, if I am to trade this coin, not financial advice, I would be looking at this as my next buy zone. We already break the 0.5. We had a reaction, but we could be turning down and coming to retest this levels. Now looking at other stuff, let's look at the RSI to see if we have any bullish divergences on the daily. We don't have any bullish divergence. On the 4-hour chart, nothing there. On the hourly, look at this. On the hourly, you had a low over here and a lower low, and the RSI gave you a low and a higher low. So that was your signal, possibly to chance along. If you wanted to chance along, that was your signal. I don't trade solely on divergences because sometimes they don't play out, and especially if you're in a downtrend, they can play out for a short time. But if you go to the 4-hourly, of course, it depends on Bitcoin, Ethereum, It also depends on the dollar index. You need to keep an eye on the DXY. The DXY is the dollar index. It's traded against a basket of other currencies made up of the euro, the Swiss franc, the Japanese yen, and I believe the Chinese currency. What is it? The yen? No, the Japanese yen. The Chinese, I don't know what's the currency, I'm not sure. But more than 50% of that, if I'm not mistaken, is made up of the euro. So this is what happens. European policies, European inflation, the pound, the British inflation affects their currency, and in turn it affects the dollar index. So if the euro goes up, we'll take a look at that in a minute, the dollar goes down, and if the dollar goes down, the dollar index falls, and if the dollar index falls, all the other assets rise, like the Bitcoin and crypto and traditionals all rise. So it all depends on Bitcoin and ETH, but truly it depends on the traditional markets. It truly depends on the traditional markets. Even what happens in Europe affects what's happening in the crypto market. Now, looking at on the 4-hourly or on the daily, looking at the daily, I will tell you what could have been your short signal. Welcome everybody to the stream. Please just smash the likes. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. That's all I ask for. And you can put in your requests. Any altcoin, indices, currencies, I can try and trade them, chart them out for you. So on the 4th of November, you had formed a lower high that started in September. This is on the daily. This is a big time frame. On the 4th of November, you formed a lower high on price action, high on RSI. That is called hidden bearish divergence. Hidden divergences are a continuation of the trend, and the trend was down. So you could have chanced a short from over here if you were willing to trade. But obviously, you see what it did. It came down, popped up, stopped the early people who entered early in their shorts, and continued lower. So always have a stop loss slightly above your entry. You will never get the top. You will never catch the bottom, even in taking profits. I mean, yesterday I was in a big Solana trade. I believe it was my biggest trade in Solana. I shorted it from $23 and I was too tired, just came out of work. It was already in the morning, came out of a night shift, and I couldn't leave it open and watch it. So I had to put a stop loss, a bit of a tight stop loss. Unfortunately, I got stopped out in 500% profit. Then the market reversed even further, went down to $9. So you never catch the low or the high. You just have to take it as it is. Now I want to go to the euro. I want to show you what to look at if you're interested in this, in knowing how the markets move. You need to look at some of the traditionals that affect the market and the DXY and the euro. I don't know why TradingView helps you have a red list when you can't type search your red list. Like, you have to literally scroll down. They could just put a search bar that you could search in your red list. It's ridiculous. Euro. There we go. That's Euro USD. That's Euro against the dollar. That's on the hourly. We are above parity. So essentially, parity is when it's 1-to-1. So 1 euro would be equal to $1 US. But now we're slightly above parity. But in my opinion, looking at this choppy movement, overlapping waves, looks like to me it's a corrective move up. And I truly believe that the euro will be coming down soon, unfortunately, and it will give way for the dollar to pump. And if that happens, then the markets will tank again, Bitcoin and the rest of the market. So looking at the euro, we had higher high. RSI was also a higher high. Looking for divergences. For hourly. Over here, for people who trade currencies, you would have noticed that you have a higher low, sorry, and you had a lower low. That is hidden bullish divergence. So on this small time frame, the trend was slight up. We had hidden divergence, continuation to the upside. So at the moment, the euro is not in the oversold region, even at the 4 hourly. On the daily, we have much upside to go. On the 1 hour, we were oversold. We came down, cooling off slightly. We may continue higher. Comparing euro to the DXY. The DXY, I had targets, I believe since November. I had 122 for the DXY. I had 112. I took it off the chart because we hit the target and we exceeded it. My next target for the DXY is around 118, and that will tank the markets even further, unfortunately. The DXY has broken 20-year highs. I mean, since 2002, these highs weren't broken. We broken out, and if you look at it in the weekly, it doesn't look so bearish. It's just a retest. I shorted FTT at 18.2 and closed 50% at 16.5. The other remaining, I put stop loss at 18.1. Then it pumped at 21, then dumped. Yeah, it happens, but not bad trade, huh? Yeah, I mean, I use leverage, but I've been trading for a while, so I use leverage and I'm very careful. If I enter a risky trade, like I would like to go just take a peek at Solana, make sure if my money's still in there or I've been stopped out. But Solana, oh, I got excited there. I thought that was a 1 minute chart. Solana on the 1 minute, we're still below the bear flag that I drew, and my trade is still safe, thank God. And we may come down. Where's my target at? I had a target over here of this flag. Let me just take a look at that. Is it on this Solana chart? What have you done? Did I just get stopped out? Just give me a second. No, I haven't been stopped out yet. Okay, so we formed a bear flag, we broke it, invalidated my bear flag. We're forming another bear flag. The pole size of this is even longer. And let's go put our magical lines over here. But it's not really a flag. Let's do this. Usually bear flags are pointing up, but it's a pattern nevertheless. And if you want to be conservative, just measure the width of this pattern, take it here and just put it here. Target should be at around 13,171. Just Salivio, am I saying your name right? Sorry if I'm murdering your name. I'm wondering, where you from, bro? And are you in any trades at the moment? This pattern here on Solana on the 1 minute, I don't usually trade on the 1 minute, but recently I've been doing it on these altcoins. I found out that you could make money on very small time frames, but it looks like a Wyckoff blow off top. I think this would be your buying climax, your automatic reaction, and somewhere here would be a secondary test, which sometimes exceeds. And over here, if we draw a horizontal ray, Oh, thank God, I said your name right. If we draw a horizontal ray from here, that will be, I think, last point of supply. I'm not sure if anyone knows Wyckoff how it works, but yeah. So losing this will be losing your last point of supply, where after the buying climax, the market was able to induce traders back into the market. Oh, from Philippines. Kamusta ka? Mabuti? Yeah, I speak a bit of Tagalog. Yeah, so I've been to the Philippines, stayed for 1 month. That was in just a year before COVID. I think that was 2018. I had a good time. It was nice. The weather was nice. People were nice. Food wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. And they have those, you have those, not tuk-tuks, I don't know what they call them, those weird looking vehicles, motorbike, taxis that can take several passengers on board. That was fun. Okay, so yeah. If you want to look at any altcoin, just shoot them and I'll be more than happy to do that. But for now, I just want to take a quick look at Quant. I was in a trade in Quant, but closed it early. Didn't expect all this would happen. Didn't expect this rubbish from FTX and Binance and all that. If I knew this would happen, if I knew the future, I would stick to it. I started my trade around to 150. Yeah, there you go. I was here. I think at 156, 158. I had a trade. I closed it early at this bounce, and I was waiting for this level, the 1.414 fib, for a retrace and continuation, but probably I was asleep or busy. I would love to see Solana to give me one more retest of the low. It will be great. So in this chart, I had a bullish head and shoulders with a target of 17, possibly 18. And at the same respect, this is on the 15 minute. So you could play it on smaller time frames as well. You could trade the 15. You could have a long from a breakout over here. And you could have a short with another pattern within a pattern. So look how I do it. I could do it this way. If I was looking at this earlier and I took this trade. Oh yeah, tricycle. Yeah, sorry. I didn't know that's what they call it. Okay, you don't usually trade, you buy and hold. That's great. So looking at TA is very useful in buying. So then you know what to expect, where the higher probable places to buy. I think, in my opinion, the markets are at a great discount at the moment. So buying at the moment is not a bad idea. If you're a hodler, it's pretty good. So you could trade this as a head and shoulders breakout. And when does it get invalidated? If you come below the shoulders, so you have a long way, you need to really break 10.775 to say that Solana is not going to be going up. Or you could trade this at this chart pattern gets invalidated. I think if we break this high, we're already invalidating it as we're breaking this now. See, we're going for that liquidity. You could see them going ever so slightly. They will grab it perfectly and probably reverse after that. Chili's. Oh, I was trading Chili's. I have some targets on Chili's. I'll show you my targets on Chili's that were respected quite well. Let's go down. Chili's is making a spicy breakout. Now I'll take it to the hourly. Switch off the indicators. In addition to looking at levels, Fibonacci levels, you need to know where the EMAs, where are you in the sense of EMAs, to know where you'll get resistance or rejection. So these are several levels I have for chilies. I had this level, you can see we bounced off perfectly. This level we consolidated, broke through. This is another level, we're just slicing like butter. Look at that V-shaped recovery. This is on the 1 hour chart. Chili's looks like it has some steam, but I'm not happy with one thing. It looks like a liquidity run. What I mean by liquidity run, it means like the market is moving too fast to liquidate the people who went short, especially the people who went short at the lows, who didn't go short at the highs, the late people shorting. So I can see that we are going quickly, fast, a V-shaped recovery. And you would notice the vectors could be bright green. If we go to smaller time frames, you might see bright green vectors. We have one over here showing that we're moving in speed. Blue one over here, slightly slowing down. And now we're going up. But my next target for chilies, if I want to look for a target where I think we'll have great resistance, this looks much better. The thing is, it's hard to even pull a fixed range volume profile, because on the hourly you could say this is your range, but you didn't really form a range. You have one touch over here and a second. You need at least 3 touches. But if I just say this is my range and I'm gonna pull a fixed range volume profile, then my point of control, my next level on the hourly, which I will tell you it's going to be a really strong level. We had a strong sell-off, we broke under, retested as resistance, a strong, this is a red vector, and that means that there was a lot of money exchanging hands. It's different than volume, it's tick volume, is how many times monies are exchanging buys and sells in one candle. So this is very high when it's bright red, and it is right at the point of control of this entire move since the 8th of November. In the same time, it is at the 50 EMA cloud will be coming down. That's a 50 EMA cloud. Now I'll mark that for you over here in red. That would be probably a good selling place if you are a trader or if you're a hodler of big bags. Let me go back. What's that? Hmm. 0.1988. So yeah, keep an eye on 0.1988 for chilies for rejection. If we break through, if you see chilies breaking through and you come down and retest it as support on an hourly, and you open and close an hourly above it, then you could go high. How high is another question. Now, to look at how high, I need to get rid of all these. I was doing this TA when I was trading, so it was easier to see. Now, I can pull a fib retracement from the high. Oh man, I need to erase them. I can turn them off actually. Is my volume clear? Is my voice clear? I'm wondering. I never listened to my voice on a recording. Is it clear, or it's echoey, or what exactly? Or is the music too loud? Just let me know. Now chilies, 50 EMA on the 1 hourly, And if you even get to this level, you have the 200 EMA over here at 0.22. All right, thanks. At 0.2293 is another level. You have the 200 EMA and probably some of my lines over here as their previous resistance looking left. I always look left to see where's my support and resistance. So I know by just looking left over here, I'll have very good resistance. And it is also the point of control. And the 50 EMA on the 1 hour. Fib retracement for this, if I take it from the swing high, so I say from this swing high to the low, our golden pocket falls perfectly at this target, your 200 EMA. So this will also be double resistance. You have double resistance at this, double resistance at that. But I need to show you something, a bit of positivity. If you break through this, though you have resistance there, you could have a pullback, but you have an insufficiency. Just no consolidation, just straight. You might slip through like butter. Trust me. Today's Thursday. Usually on Thursdays you have a midweek reversal. The market reverses from what it's done. So today we might expect upside as we're getting it. It is kind of expected. It can happen. In addition, today, I think in less than 24 hours, Solana is gonna be releasing, I think something like 900, wow, what happened? Chili's is going up. More than $900 million worth of shorts. More than $900 million worth of Solana, I believe. And with that supply coming back into the market, probably they were staked by people. People were staking, now they're going to be released. You can imagine with the FUD in the market that people will be looking to sell them their Solana as soon as possible. So we might have some more volatility in the market with Solana. Not sure what time will that be happening, but I believe it's in less than 24 hours. So that's for Solana. We have some important data today. I don't know if you are aware. So these are usually market movers. I take a look at them almost weekly to know what's coming up in the week. So if we go to today the 10th of November. So basically whatever's highlighted in red is significant news, and it tells you for which currency. So we have 1, 2, 3, and this is also significant for the dollar. So this is how it goes. The CPI, Consumer Price Index, if it comes out higher than forecasted, the forecast is 0.6 for the US. If it comes out higher than forecasted, then it's good for the US dollar. That would be bad for Bitcoin. The CPI month on month, the Consumer Price Index year on year, if it comes higher than expected, then you would expect that's what I'm talking about. CPI, I'll tell you, CPI is gonna be at around, if you open this website, I'll give it to you, forexfactory.com. It will show the timings in your local time. So I think Philippines is 5 hours ahead. I think the time in Philippines is possibly 1 p.m. now. Jason, is it Jason Wisher? Am I saying your name right? Sorry if I'm murdering your name. Yeah, sure, I'll look at Litecoin. So in just a second, bro. Yeah, so if you open this website, Forex Factory, it will show it at your local times. I think you're about 5 or 6 hours ahead. I think you're at it's around 2 p.m. where you're at. So we have the CPI month on month, CPI year on year, core CPI month on month. Okay, 2 p.m. And unemployment claims. The higher the unemployment claims, that would be better for the it would be worse for the dollar. So if actual is less than forecast, it's good for currency. But that if you have more unemployment, the Fed may ease out on inflation. Okay, yeah. So if you're at 2 p.m. now, this means you are about 5 hours ahead. It will be 9:30. It will start at 9:30 p.m. The data will come out 9:30 p.m. on forexfactory.com. All right, Jason, I got you. We'll go back to the charts. Litecoin. What is this doing? Solana. Some crazy moves. I bet you Bitcoin is doing the same. Okay, Litecoin, where are you, Litecoin? Did you say Litecoin? Yeah, Litecoin. Yeah, Litecoin. Let's go on the 15-minute chart. I was trading this a few days ago. I opened the trade at 69.5, closed it early, thought that the market is going to bounce against me. And I expect some kind of relief after this big dump, but how high? Let's take a look. For starters, this is the 15-minute chart. If I go to the hourly, you can see that on the hourly, we've been having resistance at the 50 EMA cloud over here. We tried it once. We held it as support on our way up. And as soon as we got to $73, I actually caught a short at 73, but I closed it too early also. And then another one at 69.5. Well, you never catch them all. Okay, so yeah, we have the 50 EMA that will come at around 57.42 as resistance. That's your level of resistance for starters. And if I'm going to do some technical analysis on this, let me switch off the indicators for a second. This is on the 4-hourly. You're most welcome, Jester. You're most welcome. Hope to see you soon. Please like and subscribe to the channel and click your notifications as I post TAs, short videos all the time. Thank you, man. Thank you. Okay, so we came down from the highs over here. Wow, this chart is very extended. Okay. Looks like we came in a big wave one. This was a 2 if it's doing what Bitcoin is doing. And this is our third wave down. Very extended. I think this is a big time frame for this. And this move over here is very choppy to me. This is a corrective move in my opinion. And usually corrections retrace to the 0.236 up to the 0.5 fib. And I think our correction is done over here. But if I look at it, we did not retrace that much. So if I take a fib retracement from the swing high over here all the way to the bottom, yeah, we came just close to the 0.382. Okay, not bad. So I could say that correction is over. Now what I'm looking at, if I'm looking at this Litecoin, I know I can have a retracement now. And I can see on the 4-hourly that I had a 5-wave move just like Bitcoin, a 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, and this is our third wave, which has a 1, 2, and this is the third and possibly a fourth. So my fourth wave ideally between the 0.236 to the 0.5. We have exceeded that. Unusual for a fourth wave. This could be another 1-2. And let me put that back. Just keep an eye on your golden pocket over here for starters at around 0.5. I mean 55.38. And if you get a rejection there, and if you look at your EMAs, this is on the 4-hourly. Even if you go on the hourly, your EMAs, let's look at what EMAs give us confluence. Why is it taking to load? Too long to load. Okay. We have at the 55 region, no EMAs, but I'm sure you have a point of control over there. So we put a fixed range volume profile. Our point of control is up here. So this is good news for us. We are above the value area low. So if you bounce off the value area low, essentially you go and retest the point of control, which would be at around 56.76. That will be your first resistance. And if we take a look at the 4-hourly and put in some indicators, let's put in an RSI over here and see what are we looking at. The RSI on the 4-hourly chart is showing us we don't have any bullish div. On the daily, we had a low here. And a slightly lower low on the daily. And on RSI, we had a low, lower low. Not much of bullish divergence over here. On the 4-hourly, you could see if you look at it this way, if you go stretched back to this point, you could say you had a low, a slightly higher low, and you had a bullish divergence over here. Then that's why you're getting a reaction. Now we may move up something like this. Possibly retest those levels. And once we get here, we will be forming a higher high. We break this high. And on the RSI, will come up something like that, and you'll form a lower high. So this is what could happen. You have on this time frame, you could do this. You break these highs, then you be forming bearish divergence, then you come down for your fifth wave. And your fifth wave can go quite deep, but I am, to be honest, expecting some sort of relief, at least a relief rally for now. Your fifth wave, if it goes to the 1-to-1, you could come down to 45, or the 1.618 at around $38. Now just looking left at this price action and trying to see where are we in the charts. Not trying to spread FUD over here, just saying what I'm seeing in the charts. We are essentially sort of still in a range for Litecoin. And if you look at it this way, at the bottom of the range, I like to do this. So I look at a range and try to make this a range, and I say this is my range. We are kind of in a range. We broke out of the range, we came back in, and if we break the high with volume, then we get support above the range, then we could be looking higher. Over here we have a very strong resistance at around 61 to 75. That's a big range, but I showed you those essential initial targets, and we are in this box. This is on the daily time frame. You could draw different patterns over here. You could see it as a box. You could draw it as a rising channel. I mean, anything to help you trade. But it looks more like slightly a rising wedge, and a rising wedge is a bearish pattern. We may come up and retest the top of the wedge at 79, but it's a bearish pattern all in all. If I include the shadows, the wicks, we could go down here, down there, and bring it here. It's still a rising wedge. We had a 1 touch, 2. This is a 3rd touch. You should have alternating touch preferably, and this is our 4th touch. So if this holds, you could come up, if you go past those levels, you could come up and see $79, depending if and when you come up here. It moves, obviously. This is a daily chart. Let's see if we have any interesting patterns on the hourly. On the hourly, this looks like a nice V-shaped recovery. What you would want to see, Jason, is this. You would want to see Bitcoin do this now. Come back, retest this high, continue up, retest this high, continue up, retrace this high, and continue possibly higher. A break of 70k would be really bullish for it. So that's how I see it moving, if it's going to move up. I don't know if we're going to get much of an up move today, but we need a relief rally. The market is so overextended. Even for to bring in more buyers and more sellers, the market has to move in a certain way to attract buyers and sellers back into the market. Looking at Solana now, it is forming a very nice pattern. I mean, it's a nice tradable pattern. It is a bearish pattern. It looks like a castle. I always like to see it. It's a triple top. Usually that tells you that we would go down. Let's see if it's going to do it. But however, on the 15-minute, we have gotten support above the 50 EMA, 8 and 13 EMAs. I mean 5 and 13 EMAs. We have support, so that is a good sign, but we are wicking off over here. That's not really good for showing strength. I mean, even the volume is still very low. It could be because this move up is mainly retail, not big money. Big money already bought at the lows, and it's letting retail pump it up for them to dump it again. On the hourly, we are trying to go to that 50 EMA, trying to retest it. That will be the 200 EMA on the 15-minute chart. At the moment, it's best to stay out of the markets. I mean, markets are moving volatilely up. I mean, you can do what you want. On Solana, this is a 1-minute time frame. We had this ascending triangle. We broke down from it. And now it seems like we are trying to form another pattern. You could look at this as a bullish flag as well. This was a bullish flag. The measured move for this from the down to from the lows to the high was around, let's see if we fulfilled that. The breakout was over here, almost perfectly. And now we are in another pattern. It looks like a Wyckoff distribution range to me after a buying climax, but if we say it's a break-off pattern of a flag, then we could go as high as 18.266. And at 18.266, do we have any EMAs up there? Let's see. $18.6. This is on the 4-hourly, the 13 EMA. We are hitting the golden pocket at the moment in Solana. That's why we're wicking over there. We are above the value area high. We are above the 50. That's looking bullish, but we are getting a resistance at the golden pocket. And we don't have much volume in the market to push us a bit higher, but it may explode at any point, so you could expect anything. We are just wicking this golden pocket on and on and on. But we are wicking this golden pocket zone over and over. This is on the 15-minute. Now if you clear the chart and make everything disappear, I can show you something that I'm seeing in the chart. Sometimes I just see these patterns. We are in a range. Let me remove everything. Let me do this. This is the low of our range. That is the high of our range. But if you want to look at where was the range touched most, if you just go with the bodies, you see more touches. But yeah, we are in a range. That's the high of the range. This was a freak wick. We don't have to revisit it, but usually we would recover the wick, so you could pull it up here. $15 at the top, and the bottom 13.1. So this is a tradable range, a very nice tradable range if you have patience and just wait for your entries. Short the highs, long the lows. That's 13.8 without leverage, 13.8% without leverage. And at the same time, this is a W formation, but it's at the top. But I've seen these patterns break out to the upside. Yeah, they swing up and down a bit, back and forth, but eventually you may get a nice move out. So just be careful. Even if you're trading a range, you should always have a stop loss. Preferably if you can enter at the very top of the range and your stop loss is above the high of the range, slightly above, where you would take a loss but not very big of a loss. Jason, I'm having difficulty seeing what you type. Just give me a second. So you're still in your Solana trade, but entered on DCA from $20 right to 15. Didn't manage to buy the dip below that as I was waiting for it to stabilize. Yeah, I know what you mean, but that's a great trade. So what's your entry now? So now it's at $15. Your short is at $15, or is it higher than that? You're welcome, Jason. You're welcome, bro, anytime. That's a good entry. I entered at 23, but I closed early. As I said, I put my stop loss because I had to go to bed. I was too tired after a night shift, but I still closed in more than 500% profit, I believe. And now that profit, I don't regret taking it because it helps me build my capital to enter trades again. Profit is profit. But I'm really looking at Solana. I just entered now at 14.6207. So that will be, I entered my trade over here. Somewhere around here, 14.62. My stop is at 14.6207. Sorry. My stop is right over here. It might get hit, but the risk to reward is worth it. If we go even just to touch the low of this range, I would make, let's see, with leverage, my entry was somewhere here. Where's that? Let me measure that. I entered at 14.44, and if we go down, that's 18.8 with 12x. That would give me 80 plus 16, 96. yeah, that's like almost all my money. I'll make up my money 100%, almost 100% with leverage. But the way it looks like right now is scary. It looks like it wants to reverse. As I said, we are above the value area high. We bounced off the value area high. We don't really have resistance here. You see, that was a bad entry on the 5-minute chart. We are struggling at this area. As you can see, we're finding resistance, but I was trading it off the 5-minute. At the 5-minute chart, we don't have much resistance. We could come all the way here to 15.524. My trade got stopped out. Look at that. And we're going for that liquidity. I told you we have nothing here. Look at that wick just at the top of the range. Will it continue higher? Let's see. Is this a powerful candle? Yep, it's a strong candle, but it's at the highs. I don't like it. A very powerful candle at the highs essentially means like trying to get retail traders to come in the market and trade. So let's see how far will it go. It will recover this area as well. There we go, eating through that liquidity. All the shorts. Sheesh, man. Brutal, brutal. There we go. There we go. After it finishes eating that, then it will stabilize. Solana 15.610. What is Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin at 16.7. Not doing much, just chilling. Low volume in the market. Bitcoin might come and eat this vector at 17.6. Very possible. Solana. Let's see this chart. I have more technical analysis on this chart, more levels. I'm looking for my next short. So we may come and recover this vector, which will be a resistance for us. It could be a 0.786 retracement from that level to this level. Yeah, 0.786 perfectly sits at 16.812. We could come and recover that. I wouldn't like it to go higher, then that would kind of invalidate my short-term view to the downside, because if this is another 1 or 2, I would prefer it to stick to 0.786 and not go higher. So this is perfect. At the 0.618, we're still struggling. I like it for a short entry. Long entry, if you missed it, then I suggest you don't enter unless you're waiting for a pullback, a retest, possibly of the volume profile or an EMA, as now we are above the 50 EMA. We haven't broken down. And if you want to trade short, the highest probable trade was wait for the breakdown below the 50 EMA, as we did here. If you missed that, if you missed this entry, you would wait for a retest and a confirmation to the downside. Now, failure to break this low would tell you that we are not going lower, we're going to continue higher. If you get what I mean. So technical analysis works most of the time, but sometimes the charts will do according to whatever's happening in the world. So yeah, we had this bounce, we had this range, we broke out of the range, and the measured move of this breakout from the high to the bottom of this range. Where was the bottom? I would like it over here, and we can say that I see Solana 15.999, and that is $16. And as soon as we entered there, Solana can release up, because this is, I mean, if we pass that, now we have this vector candle zone. You can literally see it on the 1 minute, how they're trying to eat through liquidity. Look at that. There we go. It's like a game of Pac-Man. Look at that. It's like Pac-Man. And then of course we have these areas now that are liquidity. We might come down and start eating through them after we finish with the upside, depending on what we want. On the 1 minute chart, we are above that ascending trend line that I have, which will be short time support. We are above the pivot point. Thanks, bro. Every day is a new lesson in trading. I can tell you that for sure. No one knows it all. No matter who thinks, whoever's cocky online, on the internet, on YouTube, pretending to know it all, no one knows anything. No one knows it all. Some people know something, but no one knows it all. If you're thinking to add, bro, to your trade, let me see what you're saying over here. Great, sir. I'm still thinking whether to add more at this range. I'm guessing it is still consolidating, and I also saw that Solana is forming a W pattern on a 30-minute chart. Yeah, I think I saw that on the 30-minute. Let me just take a look at that. Yeah, it formed a W, a low and a higher low. You could also say it's an inverse head and shoulders that I was showing over here. I think I have it on this other chart of Solana. I erased it. Anyhow, it's an inverse head and shoulders with a target that could take us up to, I measured it, I believe it was around 17K. Yeah, close to 17K. So it looks like Solana wants to go higher. So for me at the moment, it's not a short trade. We could do this. We can keep drawing pattern after pattern after pattern. High, high, and a low. Are we gonna be in a parallel ascending channel with more likelihood of breaking to the downside? Let me look at that. Oh, it's supposed to be here. And this is here. Something like that. We could be doing that. I mean, there is a saying, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. But yeah, it does affect sentiment in the market. When the news comes out, people react to it, and you'll see some volatility in the chart. But if your position is still safe, I suggest, I'm not going to advise you, but I would say I would put my stop in profit, that even if I fall asleep, it's fine. I will be in a good place. At least secure some profit or break even. And if you are to open an additional trade now, depending on what exchange, if you're using exchanges like Binance, like what I use, then your trade gets clumped up. Your entry point goes lower. But if you use other exchanges like Prime XBT, which I find it not very user friendly, but you can open several shorts on the same asset without putting them in one big trade. So that's very nice. I find that very nice that you could do that. It's just, I'm not familiar with the platform. I found it difficult. But yeah, there are exchanges that do that. Example is Prime XBT. Binance, if you open an additional short, your entry goes low. I had a short from 40K on Bitcoin, and I added to my short recently, and my entry, and I added it twice, My entry is down to, I think my entry is at 25k now. So yeah, if you add to your short on Solana, I would add to my short on Solana probably at a higher probable resistance level. So I'll do that by looking left. If I have no levels looking left, then I'll go on the hourly, look at levels close by, previous support and resistance. We are essentially at resistance now, but we have this liquidity that we're just kissing. You can see them there. They're literally trying to eat through that liquidity. That's basically people, shorts, longs. You could see them in the chart. All right, if there is anything else, let me know. I'll do some TA in it. Otherwise, I'll call it a night and I'll go to bed. It's 9 a.m. at the moment over here. Or is it 10? Oh, it's almost 10. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate all of you that attended and watched and participated. Like and subscribe to the channel. I will be posting an update pretty soon. Thanks for watching. More trades. I'm out.